It's hard to say anything bad regarding the beauty of Horizon Forbidden West. Its grand landscapes and wide open vistas are as inviting with their scenery as they are hostile with the machines that infest them. Just like the previous game before it in Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West's open world is perhaps the most delightful world to wander around and get lost in. This post-apocalyptic game is quite different from other open-world games in the genre, with other titles depicting radiated, blast-ridden landscapes from nuclear annihilation, like the popular Fallout franchise and Metro Exodus. Horizon's foray into post-apocalyptic open-world design is unique in that the games take place 1,000 years after human civilization was largely wiped out, with centuries of time taking place for nature to reclaim much of human development. As a result, vegetation, foliage, and nature in general is much more prevalent in the Horizon series, and it is not hard to be impressed by its stunning depiction of a primal, tribal America taken over by hostile machines. Having played about 15 hours so far and having journeyed to maybe a fifth of the total map size in the Forbidden West, what I've played so far is an excellent showcase of Guerilla Games' acute focus on sculpting beautiful and engaging open worlds tied together by a compelling narrative.
Remember, I'm not much for parties.
The first few hours of the game take place in a tutorial map, showcasing some of Aloy's new gadgets and traversal methods. This is a tutorial-heavy and linear landmass, allowing the player to get accustomed to the controls and sprinkles in some awesome platforming and combat encounters, while setting up the game's story. After a few hours of tutorial areas, you are then presented with this magnificent gondola ride down into the Zion Canyons, truly showcasing the scale and depth of the Forbidden West. This valley builds upon what was introduced in the tutorial section prior by opening the size up considerably, giving Aloy story missions, side quests, other errands, and optional content to experience. This area grants the player immediate freedom to scour its lands, collecting ingredients for crafting, and getting familiar with the controls and flow of the game before the game really starts to open up. It's like the developers are training you for what's to come, by allowing this valley of the map to serve as an extended tutorial that gives you, the player, more freedom to tackle its numerous objectives. After a few story missions in the valley, you've made it to the Forbidden West. Literally facing west with no end in sight, you trek out into the unknown, forging your own identity ahead of you, whether beelining the main story missions to unlock its massive map, or go exploring. And explore I did. Many games have these incredible moments when you realize you are really a tiny speck in a massive world, like the opening moments in Skyrim or The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. These moments are so awesome and really get you amped for the dozens, if not hundreds of hours to come. Playing Horizon Forbidden West feels like having these kinds of moments all the time. Due to the sheer beauty and excellence in compelling biomes and landscapes in the game, this world just has that draw to it that makes it too irresistible not to get out your photo mode and take some money shots. Vistas seem grand with towering mountains on the horizon, and mist is used effectively to mask the lands in between. Probably a brilliant method to save on processing the detailed environments from a distance. Whether nestled among towering mountains, perched atop a cliff, or in one of the many incredible cities, Horizon Forbidden West's best feature is simply its grand and diverse world. In exploration mode, with its limited HUD, the game more easily transports you into this world like a complete foreigner trying to navigate an unknown planet. Others may find it intimidating, but I find it invigorating. And the developers at Guerilla Games have polished this game to a T, dotting the map with worthwhile side content that makes a lasting impact in the trajectory of your westward expansion. With new settlements to discover, new machines to encounter, defeat and harvest, and new biomes to sink your teeth into, Horizon Forbidden West has tons of worthwhile content for completionists to enjoy. And that's without even mentioning the game's incredible ranged combat. But this isn't a review of the game yet. You'll have to wait a bit longer for that to land. I plan to complete the game 100%, just like I did Zero Dawn. So I've got a lot more game to play here. but these first few days with the game reminds me just how far video games have come in open world design. As much as I have enjoyed some other open worlds, including Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed franchise and Far Cry, Sony's Horizon franchise is on a whole other level, taking quality over quantity, and by offering some truly special and remarkable biomes to explore with interesting and meaningful side content, the Horizon franchise has done what Breath of the Wild has done so well, by immersing the player in a rich and varied landscape with compelling things to see and do. Ghost of Tsushima is also an incredible game from Sony, worth mentioning here for raising the bar in open world excellence. The land's inhabitants also bring a lot of character and life to the world as well, with several factions or tribes of people representing different lifestyles, attitudes, and beliefs. Take, for instance, the power-hungry and territorial Tenat, a fierce group of people residing in the western deserts who talk with their fists and are very straightforward and aggressive in their demeanor. Contrast this with the Utaru tribe who reside in Plainsong, a community whose beliefs are deeply tied to the land and soil they live on, exercising peaceful coexistence with nature instead of resorting to bloodshed for further expansion. Each of the tribes are very unique and represent their biomes wonderfully, and their stubbornness to break from traditions while also contending with the ever-changing political landscape presents some great moments as you conquer all corners of the map. These tribes and settlements make exploration feel like you're not alone with nature, but that there are others along the ride with you trying to find their own meaning in a world of death and hostility. Trying to make sure that the tribes can coexist peacefully while also contending with the ever-present threat of hostile machines taking over the lands is compelling and shines a focus on Aloy's own problems. Many players have been quite vocal about how Aloy is so stubborn, often disregarding aid from others and believes she is the sole person to fix the world's problems. Little does she know that this extends much further beyond her, and I think that this is an important character growth for her to be had, to realize that she can't just rely on herself to heal the world. What do you think about Aloy and the direction of the story in this game? Let me know in the comments. So much more can be said about the dynamism represented with the unique tribes and characters in Horizon Forbidden West. But this video isn't solely about its story, and rather about how these elements all contribute to building an incredible open world experience. The game's fantastic environments, incredible attention to detail, rewarding combat, and content, both in its story and side content, lift this game into an elite pantheon of groundbreaking open world games. Aside from the very few technical issues with the PlayStation 5 version regarding some hilarious physics and questionable lighting in the specific area, the game performs wonderfully and at a buttery smooth frame rate in performance mode. My fears about this game not taking full advantage of the PS5 hardware have been quelled with the incredible graphics and performance on display here, and gives me more confidence in God of War Ragnarok's PS5 version that we'll hopefully see this year. I have very much been enjoying Horizon Forbidden West, but what are your thoughts on it? Let me know what you think about this open world epic in the comments, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I make content several times a week about video games and cover some of the newest releases, so stick around for some more coverage soon to come. Till next time, fellas.